Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another weekly setup. So I'm going to be analyzing over 20 pairs using fxalexg set and forget strategy, and these are the best pairs we are going to be looking to take for this new week. So let us start analyzing all these pairs right here. We'll start with USD card because that's literally the first on my watch list, and we always delete everything, to have a cleaner perspective of what the market is doing right now. Right, so let's see. This time frame, daily time frame, is still bearish. Weekly time frame is actually bullish, right? So weekly time frame is actually bullish right now. Okay, weekly time frame is bullish. Okay, so let's see how the forward looks. I don't even like the market structure, by the way. Could actually have a retracement to buy, but I don't like it. I don't know why. It's not looking. There's also an area of interest here on the daily time frame. It's not looking. I don't. Let's look at other pairs before we know what exactly to do. So NZD next pair. We pretty much caught the sell last week, right? But we did not get the 1:6. By the way, we got only 1:2. So it's one candle we caught here, right? But now let's delete everything and see what we have. Um, let's delete everything. Okay, so daily time frame is, well, still bullish. Yes, still bullish. Weekly time frame. Okay, so weekly time frame seems like we have an area that could be respected from this weekly time frame, right? But is this going to happen next week? Definitely not, because we need a slowdown. So if this is the weekly time frame, it means that next week, if you are looking for a slowdown, we need like a doji for one full week here to just slow down before we buy, right? So this trade is definitely not ready this week, right? Definitely. um GBP NZD. Okay, so let's see. Weekly time frame bearish, right? But we have did I catch this trade last week? But we have an engulfing right here, right? So let's delete everything first. Let's see exactly. Okay, let's start with the daily time frame. Okay, daily time frame is bullish, right? Wow, I might like this trade next week, right? Let's see. So daily time frame is bullish. Area of interest is this one right here. As you can see, area of interest is this one right here. So we have let me come closer so I'll show you guys. We have, well, way multiple rejections from this area, and then about one or two rejections from this area right here. So one thing I'm noticing is that we have similar price action to what we traded last week on NZD USD. So we had a lot of buying momentum, we had a slowdown, and we started selling, right? So GBP NZD, we are having a lot of selling momentum. We are having a slowdown, and we might potentially continue buying this new week. It's just a thing where price repeats itself, right? But we don't have two time frame in sync yet, right? Because weekly is clearly bearish, right? So we have only daily bullish right now. Let's see how the forward looks. All right, so forward is bullish too as well, right? So we have that momentum to the downside and slowing down. Remember, that's exactly what we saw on NZD USD last week, right? We had a lot of buying momentum, and then we started having slowdown. Just look at the EME, please. EME buying and then having some form of slowdown before we sold and cut that 1:6. We did not really call it 1:6. We closed at 1:2, right? So that is pretty much the same similar thing I'm seeing right now on GBP NZD. A lot of selling momentum, and right now we are looking to see if we can buy. Okay, so now how to enter this market? Now let's look at that. How to enter this market? Right now the market structure is bullish. We should look for a new retracement to buy, right? So that's exactly what I'll be looking for, a new retracement around this level to buy. Let's see how the 1 hour looks, because that will be our entry time frame. So 1 hour time frame, I don't really fancy some of this market structure, right? This right here is not so clean. Retracements, you could buy from here, right? But now we are above this level, so we need to look for a new trade. So we are still going to be looking for that retracement and engulfing to buy, but I will just be a little bit careful. And I don't know how to explain why, but depending on how clean the market structure is forming, will depend on whether the market is going to play out. You understand? Don't worry, I'll update you guys on the Telegram on exactly what I'm going to do, right? But this right here, I I'm having a some kind of feeling about this, right? GBP NZD, we're expecting a retracement to buy, but I will just keep a very close eye on that pair, right? The 4 hour time frame is the cleanest for me, right? So that will be the first pair I'll be paying attention for this week. Looking for a retracement to buy, right? Maybe if the 4 hour is having that retracement, then we can look for maybe a slowdown that will support the 1 hour for us to finally buy the market. So it just depends. It just depends on how market opens first. Again, I'll update you guys on the Telegram. So that is what GPP NZD done. All right. So now next pair we have NZD JPY. So we delete everything because right now I cannot see the market very clearly. Right. Daily time frame. Let's see what we have there first. So daily time frame. All right, I don't like the market structure. It's very all over the place, but we are reading market structure. We can see that this right here was the lowest point, higher high, highest high, right? And now we are bearish. So this market structure is actually bearish right now, but we seem to be finding support so far on this market at around this level, right? We cannot just also ignore it, even if market structure is bearish. So clearly, we have rejected this level few times. This is not an area of interest in my opinion. It's not so clean. Are you with me? So I'm not expecting it to just buy from here. So let's just see what we have here. Weekly time frame, also bearish. I feel like this trade is just a high risk trade if you are looking to buy here, right? Because first of all, the time frames are looking very bearish. Strong momentum to the downside. I don't think I'll be interested in this market. GBP JPY. So let's go to GBP JPY. So last week we won on this trade, GBP JPY. So now let me delete everything that we have here and delete this alert. That was the alert I was supposed to get if I lose the trade, right? But I did not get the alert because I did not lose. All right, so now daily time frame. Okay, so this is actually a way more better trade, as you can see. So let's see, market structure is what this right here. Okay, look at this. Very strong selling pressure. Create a new lower low, and then we broke above it. So this market structure right now is bullish. So this is actually the new higher high. This one right here, higher high, and this is the higher low on this market. From the EMA, you can clearly see price is still above. I mean, price is still above EMA. So that just shows you that market structure is still currently bullish, right? Now, area of interest on the daily time frame is going to be this one right here. Why? Because clearly, when we are around this level, we rejected up. When we are above, we are rejecting up, right? When we are below, we are rejecting down. So now we are actually above. But I don't like, again, the selling pressure coming back into area. So we need price to slow down. So clearly, we are going to be trading this market. We are not going to be entering on Monday because at least we need 1 day to slow down. Are you with me? So we pretty much need something like this doji right here or this one right here. If you are seeing pressure coming into the area, we need some slowdown before we start buying. Do you see? It's just pretty much price repeating what it has done before. Okay, so now that we have that information, we just know that we're not entering these trades on Monday, right? Let's see how the weekly looks. So weekly time frame now, this is bearish. right? Because this is now the lower low and this is the lower high. And price have pretty much rejected all the way here and it might actually pretty much sell. That's what the market is telling me on the weekly. That this market might actually sell, right? Okay, so daily time frame, we're looking to buy. Weekly time frame seems like it's going to be selling. Now let's see how the 4 hour looks. 4 hour time frame right now is also bearish, right? So we don't even have two time frame in sync. For us to buy this market, we need price to shift bullish again on the 4 hour time frame, have a retracement for us to buy, but um we pretty much need to see how the daily looks first. By the way, if price start closing under this area, it means that this weekly time frame might actually be holding, right? So it means that this weekly time frame might be holding and this market will actually end up selling. So that is a good thing. It means that we are just going to be very, very patient on this market. We cannot really buy or sell right now. My own idea is that this market could end up buying, but we need the 4 hour time frame to shift structure bullish first before we buy, right? So let's see how this 1 hour will be looking. So 1 hour time frame is bearish, right? We are not entering on Monday, so we are pretty much going to be entering somewhere around here if we are going to be buying. So that will mean that the 4 hour time frame will have to shift structure first. So there's still a lot of things that need to be done on this market before we actually pay attention to it, right? But for now, right now, we just have a very solid area of interest, daily time frame, right? We need at least Monday to have a doji, right? And in that doji, we need a shift of structure. Inside that daily doji, we need the 4 hour shift of structure, right? Then if the 4 hour now have the shift of structure before we start paying attention to the 1 hour for the entries. So should I add it for this week? This trade is really all over the place right now, right? Let's keep it close just to monitor and see. But I don't know yet. I don't know. Let's just continue. USD JPY. Next pair. Let's see what we have there. Now USD JPY. Last week I was calling for sales on this market, and the reason for that is mostly because we have a weekly support area right now, right? And we started reacting from that area, but I was playing it safe because I realized that this market overall structure is bullish, right? So we never really got an entry on this market, and now price is above that area. So I'll show you exactly how we avoided trading the markets, right? So this was pretty much price going bullish. We needed price to shift bearish. As you can see, we are looking for a break and retest under this level to sell, right? And price, the weekly area of interest did not hold, and price pretty much just breezed past through that area. So we did not get the opportunity to sell, right? Do you see how you have to wait for certain things to happen before you actually react? You react to what market has done, not what you think market should do, right? So that's how we did not take that sales, even if you saw a doji, all these kind of things, but it's not really valid, right? Because we needed a new break and retest under here to sell, which never happened, and we never took that trade, right? So right now, let's see what we have. If you are deleting everything, daily time frame right now is clearly bullish. Area of interest, well, might be this one right here. Area of interest might be this one right here, because we have at least 1 rejection, 2 and 3 rejection and 4 rejections from here. So if you are looking to continue buying, you need a retracement back into this level to buy. And I don't know why I don't like it. Maybe it's because of the slowdown, or maybe because we pretty much supposed to be buying from here. I'm not sure, right? But I don't like it. I just don't like it. And I don't think it's going to happen this week, right? Maybe because of EME. If EME is coming like this and market is now reversing, it might actually be bearish first. I don't think it's going to happen this week, because when it comes to area of interest, we cannot really buy again, right? Because it's going to be bearish. That's why. Then we now have to wait for it to shift bullish again for us to now buy, and we only have 5 days next week to trade this market, so it might not even happen this week, right? So I don't think it's going to happen this week. So let's look at the next pair we're having. AUD card. So AUD card, we are looking for a retracement last week, right? We are waiting for a retracement to this area to sell, right? As you can see, this would have been a loss. And how do we avoid it? Coming over to the 1 hour time frame, you can clearly see we are waiting for a retracement back into this level to sell. As we got the retracement into this level, what is the market structure telling us? This right here was the lower low. This right here was the lower high. As soon as price broke above all these levels, it clearly means that this market is bullish. So we cannot really sell from this engulfing because this market structure is bullish. We needed it to be bearish, and for it to be bearish, it needs to break under this low again and retest that low. And let me explain. Ah, it's very hard to be explaining some of these things. So this market structure was what? Lower low right here and lower high. Our game plan was to wait for a retracement into this level to sell, right? But in getting to that level, price shifted bullish because right now we broke above this level, right? This is now the higher high, and we need the higher low for that, which is this one right here, right? That's why we cannot sell in this market, because this market structure is bullish. We need a bearish market structure for us to sell. And for this market structure to shift bearish, price needs to break under this low again, and then we now have to wait for a retracement and an engulfing for us to sell, right? So that's we never got any of those, so we never took the trade, and that's how we avoided that loss, right? So now let's see what we have right now. Market structure, daily time frame. First of all, not even clean. Weekly time frame. Weekly time frame is bullish, right? Weekly time frame is bullish. 4 hour time frame is bearish. Literally, this market's all over the place for me. Just give me a second, let me think. But I don't really like when I'm thinking too much on the market, right? It just simply means it's not clean. I should not really be paying attention to it. But I just want to see what we have. So now, daily time frame, since I said it was not clean, let us see the actual market structure. And right now, to me, it's bullish, right? That market structure is the highest point, and this is the higher low for that, right? This was the highest point. We broke under that level. This was now the lower low. We broke again. This is the lower low again, lower high. We broke above this high, making this the higher high and this the higher low. So this market structure is really all over the place. I don't like it. 4 hour time frame, let's see. 4 hour time frame looks kind of clean for sales, but we don't have the higher time frame to really give us what we want. Pretty much what looks good is just a retracement like this to sell, but I don't know whether I'm going to be selling or buying this market. I can barely even see an area of interest, by the way. So that's why I will not be adding it for this week, right? I believe the market could sell, but I'll not be adding it for this week. So now Euro JPY, let's see what we have there. Euro JPY is currently what? Bearish. By the way, this right here is still the lowest point, lower low, and this is still the lower high. So whatever price action is happening right here is bearish. And by the way, I like the fact that this last candle, which is the last day on Friday, by the way, broke under this low, right? So we could actually be looking for sales on this market, which is strange because I'm looking for buys on GBP JPY, right? But we don't do pair correlation here. So let's see daily time frame. The area of interest is this one right here. Okay, let's start from there. Market structure is bearish on the daily, so daily is bearish. Weekly time frame, let's see. Weekly time frame is also bearish, right? As you can see, this was the higher high, this was the higher low. As soon as this long candle broke under this low, it is a bearish market, right? But overall structure is bullish. Well, let's see. 4 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame is also bearish, right? You know, this market could actually sell, but I am a little bit skeptical, right? But this is how my game plan will be on this market. So we have what? Weekly and daily bearish, right? Okay, So weekly and daily bearish. So what is the information daily is giving me? Daily is telling me that we need a retracement back into this area to sell, right? Okay. Okay. Weekly is telling me what? Weekly is just pretty much bearish, right? It's just telling me it could continue bearish. That's what it's just telling me. Then 4 hour time frame is telling me what? That 4 hour time frame is just pretty much telling me that we should be selling right now, right? Daily is telling me that we should have a retracement to sell. 4 hour is telling me that we should be selling right now. Okay. So now, how do I play this? I'll draw a new area of interest, which is going to be a 4 hour area of interest right here, right? So this is going to be a 4 hour area of interest right here. So what's going to be my idea? So my idea is that price should react from this area first and go to the upside and then now start selling, right? But if it doesn't reject here, then it means that the game plan we'll be using will be that of the 4 hour, right? Which means that we should be selling right now, but we'll not sell immediately, right? We'll wait for price. We'll wait for price to have a break right here, a retracement before we sell. So I will just be very careful on this market, right? Because there are two forms of entries that we are going to be looking out for, right? But I actually do prefer this new break and retest under here. So if price react from here, we will not actually be entering from here until price actually still come back down and have this same break and retest. So anyone that plays out will still be important for us to actually sell this market, right? So let's see how the 1 hour will be looking. 1 hour, pretty much we have the break and retest. So you can see that the 1 hour too, we need that break and retest under this level. So Euro JPY for sales next week, right? We are just looking for a break and retest under that level to sell. So again, I'll update you guys on the Telegram exactly when I'm in or if I'm going to be in on that market, right? AUD card, okay, we have covered that one. Euro USD. So Euro USD, let's see what we have. Daily time frame. Wow, very bearish. Looks like last week was a very strong bearish week. Okay, so now the information that daily is giving us is that this market is bearish, and we have an area of interest right here, not so clean, but let's continue seeing, right? For now, this market structure is bearish. Okay, so we have one rejection here, 2, 3, 4, 5 rejections from area, and pretty much price rejected that area multiple times but could not hold, and then it broke it, right? Okay, so that tells us that this market, we could actually have a retracement here to sell. So first information, daily is bearish. Weekly time frame is also bearish, right? Weekly time frame is also bearish. Okay, so weekly time frame is bearish. All right, so we have daily. So we have two time frames in sync already. Daily and weekly is bearish. So let's see how the 4 hour looks now. 4 hour time frame also bearish, but it's not good for sales right now. We need a retracement to sell. So let's see the daily now. The daily, I think we need a retracement back into this area first and a slowdown before we sell. That's exactly what we need. You need a retracement back into that area to sell. But this retracement, it could have been better if the retracement started from here to sell, right? This right here is very deep, which simply means if this market is having that retracement back into here, that 4 hour time frame that is bearish will turn bullish again, which simply means once we are around here and we are having that stall, that market structure shifts. By the way, the daily is not going to have the market structure shift. It's just going to slow down, right? Then on the 4 hour, it should be having that market structure shift. for us to now be interested again, right? So I think that will be the game plan. That will be the game plan. But is it going to happen this week? Because this right here, this three candles took 3 days. If you are going to be waiting for another 2 days, this might happen on Wednesday. We'll now have to have a slowdown Thursday. Then Thursday is pretty much the end of the week. I don't think it's going to now have the full move only on Friday. Let me see how the 1 hour looks. You see, the 1 hour is currently bearish. Now, if you start going back to area of interest, it will shift structural bullish totally. We now have to wait for it to shift bearish again. Same thing with the 4 hour time frame. So I don't really think it's going to happen this week. It's good for sales, but happening this week, I don't think it's going to happen this week. So next pair, let's delete everything, see what we have. So first of all, time frame is bearish. Let's just draw this first. I'll explain later. It's just a support area that have been held by price before, right? So pretty much for the past about, let me show you what I'm seeing here. Pretty much for the past 252 days, price has not broken this level. Do you understand why I just drew it? So that's exactly why I just drew it. But pretty much price is bearish right now, right? And we have a slowdown around that area. I don't like counter trend trades. This looks like it's going to be a counter trend trade. Okay, that's the first information, right? Daily time frame is bearish. Weekly time frame is also bearish. I really don't want to trade against the trend. Weekly time frame is also bearish. So we have daily and weekly bearish. Now, 4 hour time frame. You know what? I'll still call 4 hour time frame bearish. Now, I know that you might come over here and call this a new lower low, and then it broke above this high, calling this a new higher high and higher low, making you want to buy from here. I can sense that is a trap. I can sense that is a trap. No, I'm not trading against the trend this week. In fact, I'm not trading against the trend on this pair, right? I don't know what it is, but if it's bearish, okay, let's look for a new game plan, right? So daily time frame is what now? We have a good area of interest. Daily time frame is bearish, right? Weekly time frame is also bearish. Weekly time frame need some form of retracement to the upside to sell, but it's bearish, and we have a left head right shoulder on the weekly, right? Pretty much this is very confusing, because we should be selling this market, right? We should be selling this market. Okay, so let's go to the 4 hour again. All right, so my buyers for this week will be sales, right? Will be sales. So I don't believe this break is going to hold, right? I believe it's going to break this area of interest this week and have a retracement to around this last previous structure point for us to sell. That is the game plan that makes sense the most. I think that is the game plan that makes sense the most, right? If you can break under this area of interest that it has pretty much never broken for the past 200 to 300 days, then I should expect it to hold, right? Let's see 1 hour again. Bro, you see, this 1 hour, it has been holding it as resistance. I believe I believe that this market wants to trick people into buying from here. This market structure is actually bullish, and you can actually buy from here. Bro, bro, I'm not adding a pair for I'm not adding this pair for this week, right? Next week we'll pay attention to it. The reason is because I'm thinking too much. It means it's not that clean, and I'm trying to force it, right? So I'm not adding it for this week. I'm not adding it for this week, please. You might buy, you might sell, you might buy from here, right here. If you can get an engulfing, you might actually just buy from here. But if it's going to sell, you need a break and retest under here to sell. I don't know, man. I'm not adding it for this week just because I'm thinking way too much on it. Daily time frame on the next pair, which is NZD card. Let's see what we have. All right, man. Pretty much the sell was supposed to be from here, right? The sell is supposed to be from here. So if we missed it, we have already missed it right now. There's nothing we can do on this market. I can already tell. There's nothing we can do. Next pair is GBP card. Okay, now GBP card. All right, so GBP card was supposed to be a trade for last upper week, right? But I was having tests, so we just missed the trade. So this was supposed to be the trade right here, and pretty much the trade would have given a 1:5 for my calculation, I think, right? 1:4.9, pretty much 1:5. So, but let's see what we have for this week, right? So we delete everything, right? All previous wins are no longer relevant for this new week. All previous wins are no longer relevant for this new week. We have to treat each week as a different week. We have to treat each week as a different trade on its own, right? So for me, this is the only relevant area of interest on this chart. Any other thing is not relevant to me. This is the word daily time frame, right? Okay. All right, but we can continue this selling pressure. Let's see how the weekly looks first. Weekly. Okay, this is also a daily and weekly area of interest. From the EMA, you can also see that the weekly is shifting bearish. So clearly, weekly is bearish, and forward and daily is bearish. So let's see how the forward looks. Forward is actually bearish right now, right? I know you might be thinking that this is the highest point, but that's not the highest point. This right here is the highest point, and we broke above that high and we shifted bearish again, and we are clearly breaking new lows, right? So this market is actually bearish right now. We have a minor. It's not even clean here. Let's check on the 1 hour. It might be cleaner. So we have a minor area right here, right? Let's see how it looks on the 4 hour again. Why is this so confusing? Right? Yes, that is the area I wanted to draw. Okay. All right. So this market could actually sell to around this structure point on the 4 hour, right? So let's mark it out first. Okay, so this market is clearly it broke this low, clearly breaking new lows, right, on the 4 hour time frame. Higher time frames are bearish, okay, and then the 1 hour time frame, which is supposed to be the entry time frame, is okay, bearish right now. Okay, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It was just a little bit tricky, but it's not that bad. It could actually sell. Okay, so what should be my new entry? Because if you look at this market right now, this pretty much should be around where the entry should be, right? Which simply means we missed these two candles. So what will be the new entry on this market? So the only thing that makes sense right now, are we selling too much? Okay. So the only thing that makes sense right now is just a minor retracement to sell, right? For now, I'll just pay attention to this market. So right now, it just simply means that we should have caught this sell from here, actually, because this is the main area of interest. So we are not actually using this area, right? We are not actually using this area. So we are just hoping that this daily time frame will just continue bearish. That's pretty much what we are doing on this market. If you are going to be selling from that area I'm calling, right? So it just simply means that we are just hoping that the daily time frame will just continue bearish. But it depends on how market opens, and it depends on if we get the entry confirmation, right? So we are not expecting this trend line to get broken. Technically, that's exactly what we are expecting now. From the EMA, let's see how the EMA is even looking. EMA is bearish, right? So this might actually be a very tricky one, but it's not that bad. We just need a retracement back into this minor area right here and engulfing to sell. So we'll see how this one goes next week. We'll see how it goes next week. But this right here might actually be the game plan for it. So what am I looking at? GPP NZD for, is it for sales? For buys, okay. So which other one? GPP card bar. So let's just add it for this week. Very tricky pairs this week. Very tricky pairs this week. NZD card. Have we analyzed this one? Yes. Euro NZD. Euro NZD, we delete everything. Daily time frame, pretty much all over the place, but this market structure is what? Bullish, right? Weekly time frame is bearish, whether you like it or not, but we have a slowdown and we have an engulfing right here. It doesn't matter, right? That market structure is bearish. 4 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame, okay. So pretty much this market structure looks to me like we are going to be buying eventually if we can break above this high. This thing here. If we can break above this high, but I don't think I'm going to be doing that. I just don't think we're going to be doing that because daily and weekly are bearish, right? It's just too much risk, right? That's what it looks like. It could actually start buying. It's just pretty much selling pressure, slow down, buying, right? It's just a thing. I don't know why it happens, but after a lot of selling pressure, slow down, you start to buy, right? But if the daily and weekly are telling me bearish, it's just me trying to force this market now to buy, right? So I'll not be interested in this market. AUD USD seems like we have a risk reward ratio too there. So let's see what happened. Okay, so that was just a losing trade. We had a break, retracement, and engulfing, and the market pretty much did not sell. So that was just a losing trade, right? All right, so let's see what we have. Daily time frame is pretty much bearish right now. Overall market structure looks bullish, but that doesn't matter, right? So this market structure is bearish. Weekly time frame. Weekly time frame seems like we should have a much more deeper retracement to somewhere around here before we buy. So this weekly time frame needs a deeper retracement, right? Now 4 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame is bearish. 4 hour time frame is bearish. Let's look at the 4 hour, the daily again. You know, I don't really like markets that is bullish. I mean, it's bullish right here, broke above this high, bearish, broke below this low, bullish again, broke above this high, and now bearish again. I really don't like all those shift. If it's going to be bearish, let it just continue creating lower lows and lower highs. If it's going to be bullish, let it continue creating higher highs and higher lows. This right here, breaking highs and lows, I just don't like it, right? But what is my idea on this trade? If you're going to, if I'm just analyzing just to tell you guys what my idea on this trade, but I believe that this market could actually sell. But how? You know, maybe just a retracement to around this level to sell. But I don't feel confident on this trade, right? I just believe it could have a retracement here to sell, but let's see how the 1 hour looks. I don't feel confident just because of how the daily was breaking highs and lows, right? I don't feel confident on this market. Let's just go to the next pair. Euro AUD. I feel like this next week might actually just be dog shit, right? It's just all over the place. So Euro AUD, Market structure is clearly bearish, right? So let's see. Hmm. When was this? When was this? This is about 300 days ago, almost 1 year ago. So yeah, right. So the only valid market structure is, to me, is just what's happening right now. So the market structure is bearish. First of all, no area of interest. I'm not interested. I'm not interested, to be honest. Next pair, GPP USD. All right, GBP USD bearish, right? Weekly time frame is bearish. I can see some form of slowdown around this level. So we'll just see how it looks on the daily. So all right, you see, right? This clean market structure, right? Clean market structure. I don't have to stress too much before I find anything here. Clearly, we came to this area. Let's just increase it so that to accommodate all these rejections, right? So came to this area. By the way, the body is still 1 year ago, so I will not even count. I might not even count this area to be very much valid like that. But he had a rejection from that area, so that's one. Multiple rejections from this area. We came here, we bought. We came here, we bought. We were under. We are supposed to sell, but pretty much did not respect it at that time. We came here, we bought. Same thing. We bought here. We bought here. When we are under, right here, we sold. Right. So anytime we are above, we are buying, and anytime we are below, we are selling. So this right here, we bought again. So right now we are below, and I like this strong break. It shows that he actually broke that area, right? Valid enough. All right, so that is the daily. What did I say the weekly was again? Bearish, daily bearish. So we have two time frames sync again, right? And now the 4 hour time frames also bearish. So we just need a retracement to sell. Simple. It's literally as simple as that. We just need a retracement to around this level to sell. I'll be adding this pair for this week. Let's see how the 1 hour looks. Might still need a little bit more price action, but price needs to come here on the 1 hour and shift structure again, because on the way of getting back to around area of interest, it's going to be bullish. The 1 hour is going to be bullish, so we need it to shift bearish again. So pretty much I'll just add it for this week around here, right? And then we'll see how it plays out. Euro AUD, okay, we have done that one. AUD JPY. AUD JPY. Is there anything on the chart? We delete them. Market structure is bullish. Minor area of interest. By the way, it's not even an area of interest, just the last structure point, because you don't have 3 rejections from that area. So it's not even an area of interest, right? It's just the last previous structure point on this market. Weekly time frame, very long week last week. Coming back to even the 4 hour, it's not even an area of interest. It's just 2 rejections. We need at least 3. This one is just priced at that area. It have not rejected it yet for us to know that that market is actually rejecting. So not interested. I am not interested. GBP AUD. Let's see what we have there. GBP AUD is pretty much similar. It's just at last previous structure point. Could sell, but you don't have area of interest. When you don't have area of interest, there will be no need for you to sell, right? This one could actually buy, but when you don't have area of interest, how are you so sure that it could actually react from last previous structure point, right? How are you so sure? So this is pretty much the same similar price action that we have. Pretty much no price action till around here, which is pretty much over 600 days. Kai, no, right? So that's why I'm not interested, right? I don't know whether I explained that well. The last rejection that we had on this area was over 600 days ago, right? So it's not like it's not valid. It's just a thing that current price action is way more valid than price action that have happened over 600 days ago. Whatever economic activity was happening 600 days ago, whether Trump was in power or not, is not what's happening right now. What's happening right now to me is way more relevant than what has happened 600 days ago. I don't know if that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, just follow me on the Telegram to maybe understand a little bit more better. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. But this market could sell, but there's no three rejections from area. Price have pretty much be selling and should just potentially sell again, right? Or should I use a 4 hour area of interest on this? 4 hour time frame is actually currently bullish right now, right? So we have one, two, somewhat of a three rejection. At this point, I'm forcing this trade somehow, right? But let's just see. So we have what? One rejection, two rejection, three rejection, but not so deep, right? Now, for this market to sell, we need the 4 hour, since it's bullish, we need it to shift bearish again, breaking under this low, right? Having a retracement for us to continue selling. Because it will make more sense for a market that has been selling to just continue selling. Do you understand? So the idea is just to look for reasons to just continue selling the market. But you cannot sell the market when the market is now bullish, right? So, I'll just keep it close to monitor. I highly doubt I'm actually trade this market next week. GBP let's see how the daily looks. All right, so GBP pretty much have not paid attention to this market for a while now, because the market is really just doing its thing. It's all over the place, creating long wicks to the top, to the bottom. It's just really crazy, right? I'm not interested in those kind of markets. Card JPY pretty much at the highest high, right? Pretty much nothing to trade with, right? Apart from this right here, which happened in all the way in 2024, right? Not interested. So let's see the markets we have for this week again. This week might actually not be a good week, the way I'm seeing it, right? But we call the best pairs that we're going to be seeing for this new week. And I actually like GBP right? If you can get the opportunity in this week on GBP I'll be very interested in buying GBP right? So we just need the retracements and engulfing to buy. Euro JPY pretty much has two game plan on this market because of the daily and the 4 hour, right? So I'll actually be more confident if the daily happens first, right? Reject off of that area first, go back to this area of interest, and then before we now have this breakout retest, then I'm very interested in that market. So that's the second pair. The third pair is hoping that this daily time frame will not have the retracement before the sell, right? You're just hoping that the daily time frame will just pretty much continue bearish, right? So with that idea in mind, the 4 hour time frame will be in support, right? And we'll be targeting the 4 hour structure point. So as you can see, the 4 hour time frame is breaking new lows, as you can clearly see, and it's having retracement, having slowdown, having engulfing this last time, right? So we just need 1 hour time frame to pretty much just give us the entry for us to sell. So you see these three pairs, I'll be interested in taking them if they happen this week, right? Then other pairs I'm just paying attention to, we have JPY. I don't know why I deleted that, but I needed price to shift bullish again, have a retracement to buy. That will be the daily time frame having a slowdown and the 4 hour time frame having the shift. Then on the 1 hour, until all those things happen on the daily, on the 4 hour, before we not pay attention to the 1 hour. So that's why I'm just keeping it on the sidelines. Might not really happen this week. It just depends, right? GBP USD, I believe this market could actually have a retracement back here to sell, right? Because most of the time frames are bearish, right? Most of the time frames are bearish, and GBP AUD could actually have a break under this level, a retracement to sell. Now, one thing I realized that most of the trades I'm taking this week are GBP pairs. So GBP are in the front of the pairs. GBP JPY, GBP USD, GBP AUD, GBP CAD, and GBP NZD, right? So, but most of the GBP pairs I'm calling for sales apart from GBP NZD. Now, that's just another thing to just pay attention to. I don't know. I'll just look at it. I've noticed that most of the GBP pairs, I'm calling them for sales. Apart from GBP NZD, I'm calling for buys. We don't do pair correlation here, but it's just something that might actually affect next week. So we might lose, we might win. You don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we have a pattern and we have a plan on exactly what we are looking to see first before we actually buy or sell. So I'll keep you guys updated on the Telegram. To join the Telegram, simply just come to the YouTube, click on this link right here, and click on this link to join the Telegram. That is pretty much it. I'll see you guys next week. I really hope we win like we have been winning back to back recently. And I'll create a shorter version of these videos to try and explain this thing a little bit more better, right? And then we'll see how it plays out for this new week. So that's pretty much it, guys. I will see you guys in the next video.